Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 99 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. We are super close to episode 100. Don't ask me what I'm doing for it because I have no idea. What I'm doing right now though is working on steam turbines. Last episode, what did we work on? We worked on some fancy stuff. We pretty much set it up so that we've got distilled water here being piped into a steam boiler. The steam boiler is being kept hot by our liquid heat exchangers, which receive hot coolant from our reactor. It turns it into cold coolant, sends it back to the reactor to be turned into a hot coolant again. So we've got a hot coolant, cold coolant, closed loop going on. Today, what I'd like to work on is the following. I want to get this thing up and running, generating power. I think that would be pretty cool. So that's kind of the plan. That's what I'd at least like to start working on. What I'm going to do is pop down into the basement here, zoinks, and start draining power so that we have something that we have to actually work on, right? So let's get uranium, or let's throw that back into the macerator exporter, and that should kick on this whole process from running again, in theory. So you should start going, which means that you should start going, which means that you should start going, etc., etc. And that should start draining power out of our MFE here, which will start draining power out of our energy crystal, and then we'll start seeing an energy loss upstairs, so that we have somewhere to actually store all the energy we're about to produce, roughly. I will probably upgrade our MFEs to MFSUs at some point, and that would definitely help as well. To help understand how much power we're generating, but for now I think we're cool. So I've got the basics set up. Let's get another crystal. Can I get another energy crystal? I think I should probably do that. So I'm gonna need 4 diamonds. Well, I guess what I'll do, let's hit up the main floor. Whoosh. Okay, let's get our macerator cooking. So we'll get this guy going. All right, so just whipping up a quick crystal so that I can at least, drain a bunch of energy. What I'm probably gonna do even then is, how do I have this set up down here? Oh, is that how I did it? So let's do this. So what that should do is start draining the lava out of my geothermals. I don't think there's any way to redstone signal them off, but that'll at least stop them in a minute. So that we can kind of convert this to full-blown power. Oh, nice. Sweet. So now we have an extra energy crystal in there. That should actually work out pretty well. It should be fine to have 2 energy crystals in there. Should actually be kind of cool. Alright, good deal. Let's put these guys back down. Alright, so let's get the steam turbines up and running. So to get these to work, we just throw steam turbines in there and there. That should be cool. Now we've got superheated steam buckets, and we've got distilled water, and we've got IC2 coolant. Let's see what happens when we plug you directly into you. Okay, so this might generate some explosions. Just a little bit of a warning, right? Oh, nice. Okay, cool. 800,000 KU, 400 KU, sweet. And you're building up some extra condenser steam and some distilled water. So what we need to do then, let's turn you active with redstone signal, right? So you're gonna stop. So basically what happens here, I warned you about explosions. Superheated steam goes into the steam turbine. The steam turbine starts generating EU with the superheated steam. We didn't see that, but if I do that, we'll see that we're producing 800 KU is 200 EU per tick, and another about 100 EU per tick from that. So that's kind of cool. And then this guy's producing distilled water. And this guy is kind of accepting some extra steam and getting some distilled water as well. So we're going to want to route that back to this network. So eventually what I'm going to have is I'm going to remove this drum from the equation. The drum's really just kind of a temporary. It's just there to act as a demonstration purpose for you guys to see how things work. What I'll probably do just to prevent any connections, right? We'll do that. So into here, I want to insert superheated steam only. I'm going to filter it on the whitelist. And you shouldn't need to be an extract. There should be nothing being pulled. Well, you have distilled water in there. Oh, okay, because I didn't have it whitelisted. So let's extract distilled water, always active. That should clear it out. I might need to break and replace this. I'll make you insert only mode. By the way, you're extract only. Okay, so distilled water has nowhere really to go. That might be the problem. So let's set you to in and out, extract, and then you're also going to insert whitelist distilled water. Let's see if that works. Nice, that cleared out the distilled water. Cool, because that's definitely what we want. Okay, so you shouldn't really get any distilled, so I'm going to keep you on insert only mode. So you should insert superheated steam. I don't think I have any steam. I'd like to have a bucket of steam. Can I have a tank real quick? Drum? I'd like something with steam in it. I might have to make a tank. So what I'm going to do is try and get a tank that has steam in it. And we're going to see if you auto-output the steam to adjacent inventories. Hopefully you kind of do. So if I allow this to run again, are you going to start producing? You're running. You're getting the steam excess. If I remove this, does that block it? Do you start getting steam now? Or do you kind of overflow? Where's your steam? So steam has nowhere to go, and that's why there's explosions. I was hoping it would auto output to here, but it's not. So let's do this. Let's put this guy will be extracting a blacklist of superheated steam. So it won't extract superheated steam. And I'm gonna want let's disconnect this for a sec, because I'm going to want to put something here. You should not be getting filled with anything yet. You're going to insert blacklist, not superheated steam or distilled water or any kind of coolant. So the only other liquid that's going to be on this network should be steam. So that should start putting steam in there. So if I reconnect this dude, maybe this will work. Not so much. I was hoping I could get that steam out of there. I'd really like to be able to have steam. Wonder if I could extract steam out of this guy. Extract, blacklist, distilled water. So the only thing that's in here is distilled water and steam. So if I did that, by the way, were you set? Yeah, you're auto extracting, so that should be fine. Yeah. I'd really like to be able to get steam as a bucket. We'll figure out a way. Anyway, let's put this guy back in. That should start running now based on all the steam that was in there backlogged. One little thing. So you are going to be inserting. We will blacklist pretty much everything except steam again. Wait, that's extract. We'll extract everything but these three on the blacklist. So that should extract distilled water and steam. And then you will insert, we'll blacklist superheated steam. We don't want to insert anything except steam. And with that blacklist, that should match that. Cool. So if we extract, that should drain the distilled water out of there and go throw it back in the distilled water drum. And how are you doing, by the way? Superheated steam, we're getting there. And then you you are going to have to also extract, but you're only going to extract distilled water. So that should clear out the distilled water in there. Cool. Now this thing's kind of slow, but we can speed it up a little bit, and I'll show you guys how in a minute. But that should be cool. So with that now, if we let that run, we will see we're producing 800 KU here, which translates to 200 EU per tick, around 100 EU per tick here, because we don't have any distilled water sitting in it anymore. And then we're building up a surplus of steam in here, but we can help. That actually seems okay. Well, no, it's running out now because we just probably ran out of superheated steam. Yep, that's why. Sweet. Okay, so that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is remove this, and I'm also going to remove that, so that there's no longer a buffer drum of superheated steam, right? So what we should now have, this guy producing superheated steam only when it's getting hot coolant. When it's getting hot coolant, superheated steam will make its way over to here, and this guy will accept superheated steam and extract everything but superheated steam, which should be nothing, honestly. So it should really just be an insert only kind of thing, but we'll leave it as is. You will extract distilled water and steam, and you will insert only steam. So if steam somehow gets into the ender fluid conduit system, it'll go into here to get processed. And then you only extract distilled water. So this should be the full system. So if I turn this on, so by the way, how's this guy doing? Good, and you guys aren't running anymore. If I turn this on, what we should have, nice, that's pretty good. Now we're not producing as much energy as we were before. We're at 150 because we don't have enough steam boilers running to produce the proper amount of steam. So we're going to want a few more. Not a big deal. We can totally pull that off. In total, I think I said the rough calculations that I did is we're going to want about 5 steam boilers and therefore 10 more liquid heat exchangers. I don't know if I've actually gone ahead and done that, but everything seems to be working. Nice. I'm actually quite pleased with this, right? So that's working. So a few more steam boilers and then this build is complete. Let's make sure there's no big holes down here. So far, seems to be good. We've got cold coolant coming in here. This thing's turned off at the moment. You can see the heat units are going down. And then it flicks back on as soon as we bump up above a certain amount of cold coolant. What do I have it set to? 50%? Probably something like that. Yeah, 5,000. Cool. So it actually seems to be working pretty well. Let's now get a few more steam boilers. So I'm going to, off camera, craft the 4 more steam boilers and 8 more liquid heat exchangers. Cool. Well, maybe not so much off camera. We'll do that. And then 8 more of you. And then in addition to that, we're going to want, for each of these, we need 10 heat conductors. So we need 80 heat conductors. Cool. So we will be back in a minute when that's all done being processed. All right, guys, so we're partially complete here. I don't have these things done being crafted yet, but they're in progress. But I've got the steam boilers, which what I'll probably want to do, let's turn this off for a minute, because I don't want any real fluid flowing around just yet. I want to make sure that kind of everything's ready. So that should cut down on the IC2 hot coolant, which should cut down on all this stuff. You guys should calm down in a moment, and I want everything kind of off for the time being so I can copy and paste all these settings. Cool. So the hot coolant's gone, empty and empty. Little poof, that's okay. It happens, it's normal. And then you should be all cleared out. Nice. All right, cool. Let's make sure that you're not auto-extracting for a minute. So I'm just going to turn you off. That's the only thing that should be auto-extracting into the network, right? So we put down a steam boiler, and you're not getting anything. Cool. So these settings have to be duplicated. 221 and 1 millibucket per tick. Okay. And then the same. That. Cool. So 221, 1 millibucket per tick. 221, 1 millibucket per tick. 221, 1 millibucket per tick. And if I'm right, I should be able to copy and paste, paste, paste. Oh wait, I should be copying this one, right? Paste, 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 paste. Cool. Oh good, you're getting distilled water from who knows where. Where are you getting distilled water from? I couldn't even tell you. Why are you draining distilled water? That's weird. So you should be auto-extract blacklist distilled water, which I would expect. Maybe you're sharing with your neighbors and then inserting distilled. So if I come over here to this guy and I turn you on, you should be getting distilled water. Perfect. So they're all going to fill up with distilled water. Cool. These guys shouldn't accept distilled water, but I want to kind of make sure, but we'll see what happens. So if I do... One, two, three, four, five, and then we throw these dudes down. One too many. And then we copy, paste, 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 paste. So they should all be correct now, right? Extract cold coolant, insert hot. Nice. And then I'll kind of do the same thing here. And remember, shift right click this guy to orient them the opposite direction. Paste, 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 paste. Perfect. Nice. How's my heat doohickeys doing? 79. Look at that. Super close. That is cool. Like, are you done crafting, or is there one more coming? Because there should be one more coming. There we go. So that should be enough such that I can fill this, 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 and this, and this, and that, and that, and then finally this one. Perfect. Cool. So let's ramp these up one at a time, maybe. So in fact, what I think I'm going to do is remove... I want to ramp this up one at a time and see how it goes in terms of steam and power production. So this guy's already at the appropriate 375C, but this guy has to heat up, right? So let's activate the hot coolant system. And that's okay, remember, normal explosion sounds. Everybody's cool, right? So you're producing 100 EU per tick and 50 EU per tick. So now if I go ahead and plant this and this, and we paste in our settings, you should be getting hot coolant, as should you, and this guy should be heating up. And it shouldn't take too long to heat up. And I kind of want to do one at a time to check two things. One, I want to make sure that we're going to have a reactor that can keep up with the hot coolant production that we need to keep up with, because we're going to be using more and more hot coolant over a period of time. And then two, I want to see what changes with the EU production each time I add a level here. Cool. So I guess we'll be back in a minute when this gets up to the appropriate temp. All right, so we're about to hit 375C. Boom, superheated steam production going in. So now we've got 800 KU. We're producing 200 EU per tick here, and this is 100 EU per tick for a total of 300 EU per tick. Now, let's turn on the next one. Paste and paste. So you should be getting hot coolant, and you should be extracting the cold. Cool. And then, well, not cool, hot. And then in a few minutes, that will ramp up. And then let's go downstairs and check in on our basement to see how well our reactor is behaving. Hopefully it's doing okay. So now we have even more cold coolant, right, showing up more frequently. This thing's going to stay on for longer periods of time, which should be fine. We can see it, you know, it's not turning off for very long. And pretty soon it'll be staying on, I think, the whole time, but we'll see. Ooh. Back in a minute at the next 350 mark, or 375. Alright guys, we're having a few explosions, which I can solve. Calm down there, would you? We need heat vents. I believe it's regular old heat vents that we need. We will find out super soon. Heat vents, let's go. So you guys are cooking, doing the thing you're supposed to be doing. Lots of crafting occurring for heat vents. Come on, heat vents. Hey, there it is. Nice. So I think, so here's what happens, right? We've gotten to the point where we're producing more steam than this thing can keep up with. So what we need to do is put heat vents in here to help that out. The problem is, when you do that, you have to also give it power. So I think I should be able to do this. This is a tier 3 machine, so it can accept up to 512 EU per tick. So that's going to help. It's going to use a little bit of EU production to go ahead and help to vent that steam. Nice. So now we should have no more explosions. That's what we were having a minute ago. We should have no more. And this guy's getting close to the 375. So long story short, this condenser, if you get too much steam going in here, can't keep up. Throw in heat vents and give it a little bit of RF or EU, and it's able to keep up and produce and cool off that steam into distilled water pretty quickly. Nice. All right, cool. So you're almost at 375. All right, 375 is about to tick over. So we should be bumping this guy up. There we go. Nice. So now we're producing around a decent amount of RF. That is cool. It's flickering a bit, but that's neat. Nice. I'm a little bit nervous about this, because tier 3 can only accept 512 EU per tick, right? So I might want some kind of... But this thing's actually... I think our cables here are incapable of supporting the... Or it's getting close to the point where it can't support the power flow anymore. Because you're going to ideally be around 400 plus 200. It's flickering, maybe because of the power flow capabilities. But that's actually really nice. We're getting close. So I'm going to ramp this guy up now. I'm going to shut off our hot coolant production. So that's 3. Let's ramp this dude up, shall we? I want to get an MFSU going here. So we will be back in a minute. I think it's time to make an MFSU. And we're also going to need tier 4 cabling, which is this guy. Explosions are normal, pay no attention. So for an MFSU, we want an MFE, which we already have, advanced circuit, advanced item casings, and 6 Lapitron crystals, which are 2 advanced circuits each, and some crushed lapis. So let's get... So we're going to need 6 times 4, 24 diamonds. Crushed into the little bits. We'll get ready to swap this out. So what I'll probably wind up doing here is putting a HV transformer here. And that should be cool. Yeah, it should be good. We'll figure it out, but that should be fine. We might have to play with the wiring a little bit. Alright, so that's going to cook up. Let's get... This drum can go away. The next thing we'll probably want to have... Let's get the advanced circuits going. So I'm going to want 13 of those. And we're probably going to want an advanced machine casing. One of those. We are missing steel ingots. Not for long. Just one of these. That's good. And then we should be cool. We'll also probably want some lapis dust. We have a good amount of lapis dust, so that's cool. We'll get this guy compressing. Do we have a compressor down here with speed upgrades in it? We totally do. Nice. So then we're also going to want some HV cabling, which does require iron. So let's get a few pieces of that in this guy. Nice. So I'm thinking we'll probably want right around like, I guess 32-ish. Whatever this makes, I don't even know how much I put in there. Yeah, it's good. 2x insulated, 3x insulated, and I think that's your top tier. Perfect. MFSU, that should be close. 1, you don't stack. Oh, you do. Sweet. 6, perfect. I'm guessing the advanced machine casing is still a work in progress. Are you stuck on something by chance? No. Looks like I just wasn't patient enough. And then the MFE goes in here. So what I'm going to do is pick... Let's get our transformer too. Well, yeah, we can pick it up. So you're going to be broken because you're going to be the transformer. And we're going to want 2048 coming in, 512 going out. Because an MFSU is going to be 2048. So that is going to require a circuit and an MV transformer. Whatever that is. That requires some lead dust. So 1 lead ingot into a macerator. Hopefully there's enough internal power to do that. Nice. I'm guessing that's still a work in progress, as is the circuit. Oh, right. Yeah. I know how to play this video game. This should be okay, right? Totally. Cool. So now you should be good for the HV transformer. So remember, so transformers, I'm not sure if I explained these or not. The side with many dots is the high input, and every other side is the low input. And just like other things, you right-click to make it orient properly, right? So let's pick this dude up. Let's put this guy here. Let's shift right-click this so that high input is coming from there. And then we should be able to make our MFSU. And if I put this guy here with this shift right clicked, we should, in theory, be cool now. What I might only need to do is, I don't want this connecting. That's what I'm probably going to wind up having to do. We haven't talked about this machine yet, and whether it's going to explode when he gets HV power, but I'm thinking he probably will. So what I'm going to do for the time being, right, you ready for this? Let's borrow this energy crystal I made earlier. Until I make another transformer that's going to go over here. And that'll work. Cool. And then we're going to want these power lines running to this dude. I don't know. I don't want this to create like a loop, and I'm afraid that's what it's going to do. It's going to export here and right back into the MFSU. I don't know if that would hurt anything particularly, but I'd rather it not. So what I'm going to do, bump this out over here. And I know that doesn't look particularly beautiful, but if I flip this on now, we should be producing decent amounts of power. Nice. It's actually pretty good. We're flickering to a good degree. All right, let's get the next tier of these guys going. So you and you, paste and paste. We should see, if we go to our basement now, our reactor's staying on at a decent rate. Just want to make sure we're not at a point where we're not keeping up with our coolant production, because that might, looks like we're okay. We keep flickering on and off. You can see it with the heat output. So next time we add in the next heat level, I think we'll see some real switching up. And this guy, by the way, doesn't use a lot of power. So you can see this will probably last a while in here. But we definitely want to get another transformer here. And I think that's what I'll do. Let's do that now real quick. So you're getting power, I presume? Yeah, nice. And here is a transformer. Let's make another one. Definitely want another one of these. So we're going to want lead, cable, macerate. Cool. And then we're going to want a transformer and a circuit. Cool. So in theory, I should be able to remove this. This thing will start dropping. If I put this here and put this here, you should be okay. And this thing will now down convert from tier 4 to tier 3. And because the condenser's a tier 3 machine, it's fine accepting that power. See? Tier 3. Nice. All right, cool. So you are getting to be close. We'll be back at 375. All right, 375. Superheated steam is good. Let's go over here and see what you guys are producing. Nice. Look at that, dude. So you're producing 400 EU per tick steady. You're doing a steady 200 EU per tick. Let's do the last setup here, and then it's going to be the old wrapping up point. Cool. So you're getting hot coolant. While that's cooking, let's go check in our reactor. So this is the last piece of the build, and now we have a fully functional steam-generating nuclear reactor. Nice. So it's definitely running a lot of the time, which is cool. But it's not backlogging on coolant. So we're actually doing okay. Any more, and we might not be able to produce enough heat to heat up the coolant, and we'd be, you know, struggling to keep that coolant hot. But like I said, last time I built this, 5 of these steam boilers worked out pretty well. That's kind of what mapped out to being exactly what we want. Now we could do more. There's actually one reason we can't really do more. We can-ish. So you might have noticed the steam turbines can really kind of accept any amount of steam, and the more steam you throw at them, the more rotational energy they have, and therefore the more EU production they do. The problem is these kinetic generators. They are a power tier 3, which means at most kinetic generators can output 512 EU per tick. So we'll see once we get this guy, this last dude up to 375, he's going to be getting close to that. And as a result, the kinetic generator is going to be limited to what it can do. So if we made a 6th row of steam boilers, we would be pushing this first kinetic generator over 512 EU per tick, and it therefore would not be able to output that energy. So what we have to do is, if we're making any more steam boilers, we need another set of steam turbines and kinetic generators. And we probably need another reactor anyway. So this is kind of the limit of what we can do, as far as I understand it. So we'll be back again at 375. All right, just ticked over to 375. We'll see this guy doing some fluctuating, which is fine. And you're producing a decent amount of RF. See how we're now on this borderline where it's building up RF and then losing it? That's because we just crossed that 512 threshold. See how we're fluctuating between 4 and 6? So that's kind of the limit of what this thing can do. But if we got an EU reader, which might not be so bad to make. Oh, good, we already have one. We should be able to come over here and see what kind of energy in we're getting. So on average, we're sitting right around 720 EU per tick, which is a really large amount of EU for industrial craft. So that's actually like a really good amount. And again, everything is fully automated, right? What we could do is we could configure this dude to emit a redstone signal if it's full. You know, and we could have that redstone signal emit a full thing, trigger this guy. That would be relatively easy to do. I'm just going to set it to nothing for now. But you can set up the redstone signal to do all kinds of stuff on MFSU. But basically, we could say, hey, if you're full, turn off this redstone transmitter. Done deal, right? And then that shuts off the reactor, conversely, because we're going to stop sending it cold coolant, so it won't have any work to do, right? So this thing's doing a great job. Cold coolant, steady. Everything's a closed loop. It's now literally just an on-off switch, and that switch is right here. We turn this lever off, hot coolant burns out. You're going to stop getting power in a moment, so as soon as the hot coolant runs out, we'll hear some explosions. Don't mind the explosions. But this guy's going to stop getting steam in a moment because we're going to stop having hot coolant. We can kind of see that on this level. There we go. Running out of steam. That cuts the power. No longer producing EU per tick. You stop. And if we go check on our reactor, what we should see is the cold coolant has stopped being produced. Therefore, the reactor should have automatically shut off. Nice. One lever controls the whole complicated system that we built. How cool is that? That's why I like building this thing. It is a really large, complex system, but it allows for some really nice automation. And you really do get a lot of like EU per tick. I don't know what we were getting with the geothermals, but I think they're about 20, I want to say. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we were making 120 before. We're making 720 now. Pretty awesome. With that, wrapping up point. So Daryl20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed this episode and, you know, the episodes therein where we checked out all kinds of good stuff. Specifically, how to build IC2 nuclear reactors in a very, very efficient way. The uranium that I have should last for quite a while. Anyway, for now, Daryl20 signing off. Like I said, take it easy.